So in the figure below, VWXY is a rhombus and ZVX is a triangle. And the angles stated here are all provided. Right? So they want you to find angle A and angle B. So firstly, when we read the question, okay, then we relate it to the diagram. The question says VWXY is a rhombus. So based on whatever information provided in the question, if you can record and write down certain properties onto your diagram, it will be very helpful moving forward. Okay, so VWXY is a rhombus. Now a rhombus, what we know is that it has 4 equal sides. So all sides of a rhombus are equal. So simply in your VWXY, you can draw these little lines to indicate your equal sides. Now, the moment you have written down these lines, right, you should notice that now there are two isosceles triangles. Okay, so you see VYX is isosceles, VWX is also isosceles. So the question did not directly tell you there are isosceles triangles, but you managed to figure this out on your own because of the rhombus property. Okay, so this is very helpful. Please annotate on your diagram as much as possible. Now, ZVX is a triangle, so ZVX, okay, so that's just a normal triangle. Take note, they didn't say isosceles triangle, so do not assume that this is isosceles. Okay, because some of you might say, oh, this looks like isosceles, but if the question didn't say so, please do not assume. All these are not drawn to scale. All right. Okay, then we have angles provided, BWX, YXZ is 29, so over here, and VZX, so VZX is 58, this one. Okay, so we are just studying through the diagram first. Now from here, how do I go on to solve the question? Okay, so you can choose either you want to work towards B or A first. Actually, it doesn't matter. You don't have to necessarily solve for angle A first. Okay, so angles is pretty flexible. The order does not really matter depending on which one you manage to find first. Okay, now how do I begin solving? So I would think my best bet in this case is our rhombus. Okay, now we're going to work towards angle A. So currently this 104 degrees will be helpful because in a rhombus, these two opposite angles have to be the same. So if this is 104 degrees, angle VYX, that will also be 104 degrees. So you can annotate it down in your diagram. All right. Now, then I think with that, it's quite obvious really. Now I can go on to find angle A. Why? Because angle A, can you see angle A and this 104 degrees? Together, they sum up to be 360 degrees because they are angles at a point. Okay, so simply I just need to take 360 degrees to find angle A minus the 104 degrees. And that will give me a 256 degrees, which is a reflex angle in this case. And that's it. For my part A, I have my answer. Okay, now let's go on to find angle B. Now in angle B, okay, so a very common mistake most students will tell me is that angle B is also 29 degrees. Just because they see this corner is 29, and then they think that this shape is symmetrical, and then they tell me B is 29. Okay, now if you tell me that's 29, then again, you are making a wrong assumption. You are assuming that, in a way, you're assuming that this VZXY is a symmetrical figure. Okay, which is not true, which may not be true because the question did not tell us anything about it being symmetrical. All right, and hence I cannot assume that this 29 is also applicable to here. Okay, so how do I go about doing this then to find angle B? So what I would think we can do is we can focus on this quadrilateral. Okay, it might not be so easy to see a quadrilateral here because this is not like a typical quadrilateral that we always see. Now, what's a quadrilateral? Quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. Okay, so I'm going to highlight out the quadrilateral. You might want to do so also. So as you can see, what I've highlighted consists of four sides, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, of course, it's just like a not the typical four-sided figure like trapeziums, parallelograms, not those typical quadrilaterals that we usually encounter. Okay, but it is still a quadrilateral. So what we know is focusing on this quadrilateral, Sum of angles in a quadrilateral adds up to 360 degrees. That means the four corner angles, 1, 2, 3, 4. This four corner angle should add up to 360 degrees. And luckily, I already have 3 known angles. So I'm left with just angle B. Okay, so using the properties of quadrilaterals, you just need to take 360, minusing all the 3 angles that you have to get your angle B. And that would be my answer.